All right, everyone, I am back. If you saw my community post, you know that my internet actually went down, and while it's still not fully up all the way, I do have somewhat of a connection now, so I can actually start posting some videos again for you all. And I figured a great video to get back into that would be going over all of the brand new Solstice weapons, because I'm going to be honest, a lot of these are honestly very good and ones you're going to want to look out for. However, it does seem that we're only going to be able to get tier 4 versions of these weapons, which absolutely sucks because this event doesn't come around to another year. Why we can't farm tier 5s, or fingers crossed something changes, I hope we can, because I don't want to have to deal with a tier 4 with some of these weapons, because again, some of these are very good. But regardless of that, if you were just looking for the perk combos and things that I'm looking out for, this is definitely the video for you. I will have everything timestamped down below if you want to skip to a certain weapon. And let's just start off talking about the brand new grenade launcher. This is going to be a strand area denial. So we finally have a new area denial grenade launcher. I know a lot of people have been asking for a new one, and we can finally farm for one in an event right now. This one actually is going to be Shiro's. You cannot see the origin traits, but it does actually have the Dreamwork origin trait like all of the other Solstice weapons, but it also has the Shiro's origin trait as well. So keep that in mind. Obviously, it's based on reloading, which you want to do a lot with the grenade launcher. The skin on it makes it look like a water gun, and then if you get the hollow foil version, it actually turns into like an ocean. I will say they went all out with the cosmetics on these specific Solstice weapons. They actually look so good, and I just wanted to point that out, and I'll kind of talk about that once we get to the other ones. But for perks I'm looking out for, we have things like Demolitionist in the first column, Recycle Energy as well, Envious Arsenal, and Ambitious Assassin. Then in the next column, we have things like Frenzy, One for All, Vorpal. Attrition Orbs honestly got nerfed a good amount on these things. I think it's okay still. Some people would say it's not usable. It's kind of up to you, but it's on there if you want to look out for it just in case they ever do buff it again. And then maybe Hatchling if you're playing into like a strand build and Elemental Honing. So right off the bat, the way I'm looking at crafting this, just to get one completely out the way, is going to just be a DPS swap. So obviously with Envious Arsenal, you can pair that with Elemental Honing. You're going to be able to just stack up a bunch of damage. If you're playing Prismatic, you can obviously just keep reloading. If you're pairing this with another Envious Arsenal weapon, it makes it extremely easy. And you could just do a bunch of extra damage with this gun, which is nice. If you don't like Elemental Honing, it also has Vorpal, which is also not bad. It has Frenzy as well, which is good for swapping because you will get max handling if the perk is procced. So you can basically just keep swapping very quickly while also getting the extra damage. But if you're looking for the most damage output, Elemental Honing is for sure going to be your best option. But if you never play Prismatic or you don't have a way to proc this a lot, then again, you do have the other options as well. Now for the other option I'm looking at is going to be just a Building Darkness Transcendence Energy option to compete with Lost Signal. Obviously you have this competing with Psychopomp and Velocity Baton as well, so this is going to be more of just like the add clear darkness energy roll. So honestly, I'm probably either going to go with Recycle Energy or Demolitionist here just to get some ability energy back. Demo probably being the best option because most builds in the game that I play are heavily based around just grenades in general. But if you use your abilities a lot, say something like the Search Arachne, Prismatic Hunter, you literally use your abilities all the time, so you can actually get energy a lot with this. Ambitious is always a great option, but in all honesty, I just don't really like Ambition too much on these grenade launchers. Yeah, I know you can get 2 shots in it, which is cool. Pairing that with the Solstice origin trait, you could do some pretty interesting things. But for me, I just feel like I get more value out of a energy-based perk, probably something like Demolitionist. And then I would probably just pair that with One for All, if I'm being completely real with you. Just having the One for All here, just for the extra damage, is going to be very good. If you want to go with something like Frenzy to get your reload speed up, you could do that as well. Again, this will max the reload and handling out. This could be very good. But if you take One for All, you are going to be getting a lot more damage. And if you do pair that with the Shiro's origin trait, you could also opt in to take Recycle Energy One for All, so you're constantly getting the increased handling from the Shiro's trait, so you don't really have to take Frenzy. And on top of that, since you're reloading all the time, you're constantly getting recycled energy, and again, you just have a bunch of damage. This could be very good. Again, Attrition Orbs, I might keep one, but it's not really what I'm looking for. Maybe Hatchling, I would go like Demo Hatchling if I'm playing into like a Threatening build on the Warlock. That could be pretty good. But my 2 main roles are for sure going to be Recycle Energy and One for All, and then I'm going to have a DPS swap with Envious Arsenal and Elemental Honing. As for PvP, I don't really see anything on here too crazy. I mean, there's Binary Orbit. You could swap to it. Maybe you could do some crazy damage if you get a kill with a different weapon. You also have things like Transcendence Moment, I guess, to pair with that. And other perks to just point out in general is like Blast Distributor. If you're playing into a grenade build, this can get you grenade setup. I imagine it will probably get it up pretty quickly since the grenade launchers just constantly do damage. Kind of like how it's really good using these with Starfire because it just constantly doing tick damage. So that could be an interesting combination. Not exactly sure how that's going to work out, but that could be pretty good as well. I just wish it had auto loading. Man, I needed another Aerodynal with auto loading, but unfortunately it doesn't. But it's still very, very good, and it's definitely one you want to look out for. Now, moving on to the next weapon, we actually have the Fortunate Star, which is a returning bow from the previous Solstice event, but it's actually now a precision frame. It was actually a lightweight frame, if I'm not wrong, if I'm not mistaken, in the previous Solstice. So I'm already liking it a lot better because I like precision frames a lot better, and it has some very good perks too. So this one has like a synthwave vibe going on to it, which also is really cool. But if you get the holofoil, it goes to like the sand and the ocean type thing, which also looks very, very cool. But if we take a look here at the perks, we do have the brand new perk that basically just gives you more ammo progression, which is obviously pretty decent. We have Dragonfly, we have Repulsor Brace, we have Arch Tempo, we have Successful Warm-Up. In the other column, we have Precision Instrument, Explosive Head, Destabilize Rounds, Sword Logic, Archer's Gambit, even Demoralize. Like, there's a ton of good perks on this bow. I think most people, and for me as well, I'm probably just going to go for the classic Stabilizing Rounds and Dragonfly combination. You can just cause a bunch of explosions with this. It is worth pointing that this does have Vice Stinger on it, since this is a Vice bow and arrow, I guess. So you can actually get Vice Stinger on it, or you can take the Dreamwork Order Trade. I probably would opt in to take Vice Stinger, but this right here is just going to be a go-to roll. You could just cause a bunch of explosions. If you have the bow from Heresy, I guess you don't really need it as much, but if you didn't get one of those bows, this one is going to be a very, very good alternative, if not even better, because it will have the New Year bonus. But your bows, always make sure you have Elastic String equipped so you can get that faster draw time, and this thing is going to be very, very solid. Now, if you're going for a more like single target Grandmaster, just kind of plucking away with the primary weapon, you could go for something like Archer's Tempo, maybe pair that Precision Instrument or even Explosive Head, get some extra damage, which is good. You could even pair Archer's Gambit and just have an extremely fast shooting bow. That's honestly probably more of a PvP role than a PvE role, but obviously you can make it work in both. But overall, I mean, yeah, like there's just so many good combinations. If you want to go like Demoralize, you know, Successful Warm-Up, or Demoralize Dragonfly, weaken everything, cause a big explosion. Your Successful Warm-Up and Archer's Gambit, I imagine you probably will just be able to just literally shoots so many arrows just super quick. It could be a ton of fun. But again, the role I'm looking at the most for PvE is definitely the Stabilizing Dragonfly combo. It's very, very good, and I don't know if it can get better than that. If you want to throw a Repulsor Brace to get over shields, you can, but honestly, I just like Dragonfly too much for the explosions, so that's what I just always go with. Now, for PvP, obviously, it has good perks as well. Archer's Tempo, I don't think Precision Instrument's honestly really worth it on a bow in PvP. I could be wrong. For all the PvP players out there, definitely be sure to let me know. But again, the Archer's Tempo, Archer's Gambit combo is going to be very good. Eye of the Storm, also, if you're just trying to like trade, you know, just in 1v1s, it's solid. There's just so many loaded good perks on this bow. Literally, you could probably get any combination here, and it's going to be very good. I mean, you can get the ammo perk, the Stabilizing Rounds, even Sword Logic. That's honestly not that bad of a bow. Obviously, that's probably not what I would look out for, but you know, it's still decent, and it just kind of goes to show that they really just put some juicer perks on this thing, and I definitely think this is one you want to farm for. I just wish we could farm for a tier 5. Please, Bungie. Now, moving on to the final weapon, and I think this is the one that might shock a lot of people, and the one that everyone is going to be trying to get. I mean, like I said, the other two are already very good as we went over, but this one is the Yeartide Apex. This is going to be a lightweight frame, 900 round per minute solar SMG. It is the text mechanical model, so it will have the text mechanical origin trait, but it also is like the Huckleberry model, so it reloads from the top, so it has kind of like a cool animation you could play around, which I know sounds stupid, but that already makes me want to use it over other SMGs. But on top of that, it also has some crazy good perks. It also has the synthwave little aspect going on, and then again, if you get the holofoil, it's the ocean and sand. But taking a look at these perks in this first column, we have things like Recycle Energy, we have Hill Clip, we have Feed and Frenzy, we have Attrition Orbs, and we have Demolitionist. And then in the right column, we have Burning Ambition, which in all honesty is I don't like this perk, but you may be able to do some things with it, so that I'm going to include it here. But obviously you have Incandescent, which is arguably the better perk here, and then Chaos Reshaped is on here. The Final Shape Raid Weapon perk is just on here, which is cool, which is also a very, very good perk. So right off the bat, obviously Hill Clip Incandescent, like I don't even really need to explain it. Like that's a goated roll. It's going to be very good. If you didn't get a No Survivors from Rite of the Nine, this one is arguably going to be better because it is a fast fire rate, so it should have more DPS. It has the new gear bonus, and also it just looks a lot cooler. So I think if you didn't get that, you definitely want to try to get this one. It is going to be a very, very good option. Now, Obviously, if we take a look at some other combos here, because I imagine this is one most people's going to look out for. I mean, you even have things like Chaos is Shaped and Heal Clip. So Heal Clip heals you, and then Chaos is Shaped also heals you. This is basically just Frenzy, but you heal as well. So not only are you getting damage, but you're getting survivability. Pairing that with the other survivability perk, you probably will have a good chance of being unkillable if you're using this thing just kind of in general play. You can even pair Chaos is Shaped with something like Attrition Orbs. Take this in like some GN style content. You're gonna have Chaos is Shaped proc pretty much all the time. Constant healing, constant dormer damage, constantly making orbs of power just because you're just shooting enemies a lot. It's gonna be very good. You also just have generic Demolitionist on here too. Demo Incandescent obviously being very, very good. Even Feed and Frenzy if you just want reload speed. Recycle energy if you want energy for something else. It has so many good options on here, kind of like the bow. I mean, honestly, like the other grenade launcher too. You just really cannot go wrong. There is just so many good combinations. Again, for single target, for playing it into solar, for just doing generic ad clear, or just playing it into any ability energy. If you just want reload speed, you can. It has everything. I mean, then if Burn Inhibition ends up having some cool things as well, you could probably go like Burn Inhibition, Attrition Orbs. So you're just constantly applying Scorch, shooting a single target. You're making orbs as well while you're doing that. It's some crazy things, and that's just for PvE. For PvP, it has some pretty good stuff too. I mean, in the first column, you have things like Lone Wolf, you have Target Lock. That's already going to be a very, very good combination here. It's just for, you know, 1v1s and stuff like that. But on top of that, it also has some really interesting roles here too, with things like Binary Orbit and Transcendence Moment. We kind of talked about that earlier with Grenade Launcher, but like if you get a kill with a different weapon, you basically just swap to this and you have more damage, some juiced up stats depending on, you know, the element that you used. And it can probably just shred. Imagine this with like a Peacekeeper Titan. If you have another like, you know, kinetic slot with this same you know, perk set or something similar to it, you can probably just run around the map and keep this damage up at all times. You just keep swapping over and over. Now, obviously, I don't know if that's going to be like the best way to play the game or anything, but it sounds fun, and I just wanted to point it out. It even has Harmony if Binary Orbit is not your thing, but in all honesty, I feel like Binary Orbit kind of is just better Harmony. It does more damage. I think it also lasts longer too. Yeah, this lasts 7 seconds, this lasts 8.5, and it's 5% more damage. So I think Binary Orbit is just the better play here. But it has some very cool combinations for PvP. And obviously some goated combinations for PvE as well. But yeah, that's all the weapons. I don't want to make this video too long, but it seems like that's all we're going to be able to get. You have things like the Compass Rose and something new. They don't have new options in here. I don't know if they're like refreshing their perk pool or not. But as you see here, like there's no 2025 options. So I imagine they're not refreshing the perk pool. But to be fair, the 3 weapons that we did get have some absolute crazy perk pools, some things that we just don't even have in the game in general. So you're going to want to look out and farm for these. Bungie, just please let us farm tier 5s. Like, I don't want to be locked at a tier 4 and have to wait a whole year to eventually get a tier 5 if things line up, if they don't change the leveling system in general. So it's kind of a pain, but like at the same time, like I definitely want to get some of these, but like it's not going to be a tier 5. That whole thing is just so annoying, but I do want these weapons, so I am going to try to farm for them even if it is just the tier 4. But all right, that is going to do it for this video. If you haven't seen the armor, this is what the armor is looking like. It's hilarious. I think it actually looks pretty cool. The weapons look sick, but let me know all the roles that you're looking for down below. Are you excited for Solstice? You're going to be farming for it. I assume it's going to be similar to the event that we just had, just kind of upgraded a little bit, you know, with the whole new, like, you know, tab and the portal with arm suite and stuff. I assume that's kind of what it's going to be like, but we'll see. I'm actually pretty excited. Again, I like some of these weapons. Bungie, just please let us farm tier 5s. But that's enough yapping for me. If you made this far, I wish you all the best of luck on farming anything that you want for yourself. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Peace.